Arsenal fans, buckle up, because this might be the biggest 48 hours of the entire summer window. We've got Christos Tzolis edging closer to the Emirates. We've got a British transfer record about to be smashed for Morgan Rogers. We've got Vinicius Jr.'s name popping up in Arsenal conversations again. And we've got a Julian Alvarez twist that nobody saw coming. Andrea Berta and Mikel Arteta are not messing about. The champions are reloading. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly where every single one of these deals stands. Let's get into it. Cut to montage. Emirates Stadium. Arteta touchline shot. Transfer graphics. Christos Tzolis. The deal that's almost done. Let's start with the one that's furthest along, because this is genuinely close. Christos Tzolis has been quietly one of the best wingers outside Europe's top 5 leagues over the last 2 seasons. At Club Brugge, he racked up over 20 goals and close to 30 assists last term alone, and he was directly involved in goals against Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and Atalanta in the Champions League. That's not a squad player's resume, that's someone who's earned this move. According to reports, Arsenal are edging closer to completing the signing, with negotiations at an advanced stage and only final club approval needed before Tzolis travels to London. The fee being talked about sits around the €40 million mark, which, let's be honest, feels like a steal if his Brugge numbers translate even partially to the Premier League. Here's the domino effect fans need to understand. This move is directly tied to Leandro Trossard's departure. Trossard is expected to join Besiktas in a deal worth roughly £17 million once Belgium's World Cup run finishes, and that's essentially the trigger. Once Trossard is out the door, Tzolis comes in as his long-term replacement on that left-hand side. And crucially, this is not instead of Morgan Rogers. Multiple sources have been clear that a move for Tzolis isn't expected to impact Arsenal's pursuit of Rogers, who remains one of their top priorities. So don't panic if you're a Rogers fan. Arsenal see these as 2 separate pieces of the same puzzle. Tzolis as the ready-made squad option and long-term left-wing depth, Rogers as the marquee statement signing. Sacha Tavolieri and Belgian outlet HLN have both confirmed Arsenal have now made formal contact with Brugge, though as of the most recent update, an official bid hasn't landed yet. But every signal, Romano's regular contact reports, the advanced talks language from the Sun, the Trossard exit clearing the path, points to this being one of the first deals to actually get over the line. Verdict: this one's close. Very close. Now let's talk about the one that would send shockwaves through the entire league. Morgan Rogers has been an obsession for Arsenal's recruitment department for weeks now, and it's easy to see why. Since joining Aston Villa from Middlesbrough back in 2024, he's built up over 30 goals and close to 30 assists in just over 120 appearances. That's elite output for a player still only 23. Arteta doesn't just see him as a winger either. He views Rogers as the long-term answer on the left, someone who can also drop into that number 10 role when needed. Given how much Arsenal have missed a genuine second creative outlet alongside Odegaard, that versatility is exactly what Berta has been hunting for. Here's where it gets serious. Aston Villa are holding firm, and reports suggest they want a fee that would make Rogers the most expensive British transfer in history, north of £130 million. Arsenal, meanwhile, are expected to open discussions somewhere closer to the £70 to £100 million range, meaning there's a real gap to bridge before any deal gets done. But, and this is the exciting part, the personal terms side is reportedly already sorted. Sources close to the deal say Arsenal have made significant progress on personal terms, with talk of an agreement in principle already in place on a 5-year contract. Fabrizio Romano himself has weighed in too, confirming Arsenal will sign a top winger this summer with Rogers as their clear top priority, and describing the player agreement as edging closer. So here's the picture. Player wants it, Arsenal want it. Personal terms are basically there. The only thing left standing between Rogers and the Emirates is Aston Villa's valuation. Expect this one to run right up against deadline day, with Arsenal readying an opening bid designed to test Villa's resolve. If this goes through anywhere close to £116 to £130 million, that's not just a signing. That's a statement to the rest of the league that Arsenal are done being patient and are ready to spend like champions. Julian Alvarez, the twist nobody saw coming. Now, this one's genuinely fascinating because the story has flipped multiple times in the last week alone. Julian Alvarez wants out of Atletico Madrid. That part isn't in doubt. He's been open about wanting to fulfill what he calls his dream elsewhere, and with Atletico unable to deliver major silverware despite serious investment, the writing's been on the wall for a while. Arsenal's interest is real, and it's personal. Berta signed Alvarez for Atletico originally, before making the move to North London himself, so there's genuine history there. But here's the problem. Multiple Spanish outlets have reported that Alvarez simply doesn't want to come back to the Premier League after his time at Manchester City. He's on record saying he has no interest in returning to England, and Barcelona have emerged as the frontrunners, reportedly lodging a formal bid in the region of €100 million with Atletico. Where this gets messy for Arsenal fans is the knock-on effect. If Alvarez did somehow arrive, it would seriously complicate life for Victor Gyökeres, who'd suddenly find himself fighting for a starting spot after barely settling into the Premier League. Some reports over the past few days have even suggested Arsenal's interest has cooled entirely following Alvarez's stance on a Barcelona swap scenario. Bottom line, this is the one to watch skeptically. Arsenal clearly admire him, but the player's own preference for Spain over England is the biggest obstacle in this entire transfer window. Don't build your summer around this one happening. The sleeper saga that could change everything, save the best for last, because this is the story that could turn Arsenal's summer from good to seismic. Vinicius Jr.'s situation at Real Madrid has been quietly unraveling for months. His contract runs out in 2027, and negotiations over an extension have hit real turbulence. He's currently on around £350,000 a week, with Real willing to bump that to roughly £400,000. But Vinicius reportedly wants closer to £500,000, a gap Real haven't been willing to close. Because Real don't want to risk losing him for nothing when his deal expires, they're reportedly prepared to sanction a sale this summer if talks stall. And that's where Arsenal come in. TEAMtalk report that Arsenal are among a group of 5 Premier League clubs who've been kept informed of the situation, alongside Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea and Liverpool. The Saudi Pro League are also circling and reportedly ready to double his wages if Madrid do let him go. Now, let's be realistic. Arsenal being kept informed is a long way from an actual bid. But what makes this one genuinely interesting for Gooners is the fit. Arsenal are actively hunting for a genuine left-wing superstar this summer. That's the whole reason Rodgers and Tzolis are both in the conversation. Vinicius, at his best, is one of the most explosive attacking talents on the planet. A Ballon d'Or contender who could transform Arteta's entire front line and take pressure off Saka for good. Reports out of Madrid this week suggest the club hierarchy are actively pushing Vinicius to sign new terms soon, or risk being placed on the market. If that pressure doesn't produce a resolution, sources believe Real would rather cash in this summer than lose him for free next year. Arsenal, patiently, are just waiting to see how it plays out. This is the boldest, most exciting name on Arsenal's radar right now. And if the Rodgers deal collapses over Villa's valuation, don't be shocked if Arsenal pivot hard toward this one instead. What this all means for Arsenal's season. So let's zoom out. Right now, Arsenal's summer picture looks something like this. Tzolis, very close, expected to follow Trossard's exit almost immediately. Rodgers, the priority target, personal terms reportedly close, price the only barrier. Alvarez, real interest, but the player's own preference for Spain makes this an uphill battle. Vinicius Jr, a name to genuinely dream on, dependent entirely on how his Real Madrid contract saga resolves. Add in the already confirmed additions of Illan Meslier and Piero Hincapié, plus the ongoing Bruno Guimaraes pursuit in midfield, and this is shaping up to be one of the most aggressive rebuilds of any reigning Premier League champion in recent memory. Berta and Arteta clearly aren't satisfied with just defending the title. They want to be genuinely unstoppable. That's everything we know right now, but this window is moving by the hour, so if any of these deals break while you're watching this, you'll hear it here first. Which one are you most excited about? Rodgers, Tzolis, or the dream Vinicius move? Drop it in the comments, hit subscribe so you don't miss the confirmation videos, and I'll see you in the next one.